Should runners do CrossFit? Or if you're a runner and you already do CrossFit, what's maybe the best way you should, schedule CrossFit workouts into your running routine? So, I'm Dr. Ray Peralta, physical therapist and run coach, and for the past 10 years, I've helped hundreds of runners get faster, avoid injuries, and hit PRs without giving up on other types of activities they love to doing, whether it's strength training, CrossFit, etc. In this video, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of CrossFit for runners and share how you can safely include it, if at all, without compromising your running performance. So we'll cover, what CrossFit is, the benefits and risk of CrossFit for runners, my own experience with doing CrossFit, and how to combine CrossFit and running if you choose to, and what I personally recommend. So stick around, and I also have a free training on how to run pain-free to help you also get stronger in the process as well. Check out that free training, link in the description. So what is CrossFit? CrossFit is a high-intensity program that blends weightlifting, gymnastics, cardio, and it's usually done in a group setting, right? You usually go to a CrossFit gym or box, called a CrossFit box, and you're doing the workout of the day. The workouts a day can vary. They have all sorts of different workouts here. For example, here I'm looking at one that says do as many rounds as possible in 10 minutes of dumbbell deadlifts, power cleans, shoulder to overheads with dumbbell. So and it kind of follows this form, but sometimes it includes running and includes all sorts of movements. And there's about 14,000 CrossFit gyms worldwide with 5 million participants. But is it the best choice for runners? So here are some of the pros for CrossFit, right? And so if you're a runner who chooses to do CrossFit, what can it help you with, right? Running a CrossFit can help build strength and power because it does incorporate some strength movements like squats, deadlifts, lunges. It could help build stronger glutes and legs, hamstrings, quads. It could help you maintain your running form because you're doing a type of strength training, which can help you with when fatigue sets in, you could be more resilient. It could also translate to improved running economy. You could be more efficient with your energy use because now you've built up your fitness doing CrossFit, especially the strength components of fitness. So now when you do, even though it's CrossFit style strength training, it's still strength training, which translates to less oxygen use per mile. So now you're more efficient, you can last longer, you're more fatigue resistant. It could also improve your anaerobic, your kind of some speed development. So some CrossFit workouts do include sprints and intervals. They include like running sprints, like repeat 400s, 800s, etc. They also sometimes do sprints on a bike, like a assault bike, or pushing or doing sprints on rowers. So yes, improving anaerobic energy systems can also improve your aerobic base as well, similar to effect a runner doing speed work, right? It has similar benefits. It may reduce injury risks, but with a caveat, right? So obviously doing strength training, and then even though CrossFit style strength training, like this circuit style training of strength training, yes, it can help strengthen your joints and muscles, can help prevent common injuries like IT band syndrome, runner's knee. However, this can also be achieved with just traditional strength training. You don't necessarily have to do CrossFit style strength workouts because you could just do standalone strength workouts as well. However, what are the cons of CrossFit for runners, right? There is a high risk of overtraining, right? High volume and intensity, right? If you're doing CrossFit multiple days a week, it can clash with your running volume, especially if you're training for a marathon and you're also trying to do high volume of, marathon style running, right? Where you're averaging 30 miles a week, 40 miles a week, and so forth. Now you're trying to do high volume running plus high volume CrossFit workouts that can lead to fatigue, reduced running performance, or even burnout, and also potentially increase your risk of injury. Lack of specificity, right? So CrossFit oftentimes involves movements like handstand push-ups, burpees, Olympic lifts, right? Doing push presses, clean and jerks, pushing a sled. And while most runners need targeted strength work for imbalances, not necessarily have to do gymnastic style movements. Yes, it can help with general fitness, but I wouldn't say it's the mainstay for running a program. Like if you love to run, there's no need to do handstand push-ups unless you just love CrossFit programming and you love the idea of being able to do handstand push-ups, for example. Injury risk, especially for runners, right? Research shows that there's a 35% risk of injury in CrossFit. Now, it's not necessarily higher than other sports per se. It's not like, oh, CrossFit is dangerous. However, now when you're combining this with running and now you're fatigued, you could put your knee, for example, which in just CrossFit alone is 18% of risk of injury. And in running, the knee is at like a 42% of risk of injury. Now, the factors that contribute to injury in CrossFit is poor form, peer pressure. Right now, you're trying to be competitive, maybe trying to lift more than your body's able to, or maybe if you even can't lift it, but now you're training in a fatigued state because maybe you ran the day before, maybe did an intense run workout. Now you're pushing yourself to, do the workout the day as prescribed. When your body's not able to handle it, that can increase your risk of injury. Obviously, you could decrease the risk by just simply scaling back, but sometimes beginners to CrossFit or maybe type A runners who get into CrossFit are made overly competitive and push themselves beyond their ability level. And if you're curious about the study that I'm referencing to Rodriguez et al. In 2022, published in the Physician and Sports Medicine here. And the name of the study was Injury in CrossFit, a systematic review of epidemiology and risk factors. Cool. So my experience with CrossFit. So I've tried CrossFit before in college. Yeah, it's great to be in a group environment, hanging out with your friends, your bros and all that. But I also pushed myself. I made that mistake being like type A, I'm going to go push and go hard. I pushed myself too hard with some of the Olympic lifts. Had some minor injuries. Yeah, I was in college. I bounced back with just some rest. But I also learned that scaling is key. You don't have to push yourself to, have to push press or power clean 225 pounds if you're already fatigued, you're not feeling up to it, or maybe just not able to lift that weight, right? It's okay to scale back. And for many runners, it could become too much, especially if you're training for a marathon. You're not trying to do high volume, again, trying to do high mileage weeks of running, and then trying to do CrossFit as well. Now, you may be saying, okay, but Ray, you don't get it. I really love CrossFit. And that's okay. If you love CrossFit, you don't have to give it up. So what would I recommend? How to combine CrossFit and running if you just love CrossFit, you just want to do CrossFit. Or maybe you're curious about it, you want to try it out. I recommend just limiting, if you're training for a marathon, I would just limit CrossFit to 1 to 2 times per week. If you're doing a shorter distance, maybe you're training for a half marathon or a 5K, you could get away with 3 CrossFit workouts a week. But I would treat CrossFit kind of like strength training, right? So I wouldn't necessarily call it aerobic conditioning. You still want to do your aerobic conditioning with running or cross training with biking or swimming, doing long duration style workouts to build your aerobic fitness. So again, with CrossFit, I would treat it, again, just like strength training, just 1 to 2 workouts a week. Again, if you're training for, a 5K, it's okay if you do 3 times. And then with running, if you want to still improve your running performance, I would keep the running at 4 to 5 days a week. Again, keeping sure you're doing easy runs, long runs, speed work, tempo runs, or threshold runs. And also don't do CrossFit the day before a key run work, like a speed workout or a long run, because then it's going to maybe overly fatigue you for your speed workout or your long run. I follow this concept of easy, hard, right? So if you have an easy day, then you could do a hard like CrossFit session, then followed by another easy day. Or if you're gonna do a run, it's a long run, right? Then the following day, it should be an easy workout. Maybe take a rest day or do a gentle type of recovery workout. Maybe you just bike for 20 minutes instead of doing an intense CrossFit workout, right? Because some CrossFit workouts would be pretty intense, like as many reps as possible for an hour of burpees, right? Who wants to do that type of workout after a long run? So scaling the intensity, reduce the load or the volume. If the workout of the day, if the CrossFit workout of the day doesn't meet your, what you did the day before in running, right? Like, hey, you need a rest day or you need to take it a little easier, scale back the workout, or considering just doing your own workout and then doing CrossFit the following day. Or maybe like taking 2 days off in between a long run or something like that. So what's a better alternative for most runners? I would recommend just doing traditional strength training, right? Unless you really love CrossFit or you're just curious about CrossFit, I don't think it's a must-have for runners. You can get the benefits of CrossFit fit workouts just by doing traditional strength training, right? I recommend just doing 2 times a week of traditional strength training. Especially the way I like to do is a single set to fatigue or single set to failure. Things like squats, lunges, calf raises, Romanian deadlifts, right? 8 to 12 rep max. Single set to failure is efficient. You could do a full body routine in like 20 minutes or so, 20 or 30 minutes without having to go spend an hour plus maybe doing a CrossFit workout. Because, in the group setting with CrossFit, you have like the warm up, then you have the CrossFit workout of the day, and then etc. Now, if you love the group setting, you can. But again, I think for most runners, you could just do traditional strength training, and you could also do this traditional strength training at your home. Like I personally just have some kettlebells, some heavy resistance bands, a light weight, attach the bands to that light weight, and do a quality strength workout from the comfort of my own home without even having to travel to a CrossFit gym or box or a traditional gym. And if you do like going to the gym, because they have the treadmill there, you can now pair the treadmill running with like a 20-minute strength workout. So you do your running, then right after you run, you do your 20-minute strength workout. Depending on the type of run you did, again, I still recommend having easy days and then hard strength workouts. But I think it's a better alternative for runners to stick to traditional strength training. Again, unless, again, if you really love CrossFit, then by all means. So CrossFit can help runners if managed carefully, but I wouldn't treat CrossFit as a type of cross training. I would actually treat CrossFit as a style of strength training. So again, cross training is something like that builds up your aerobic fitness, right? So swimming, biking, rowing, elliptical. And for most runners, it's not the most efficient way to get stronger or faster. Yes, if you can do CrossFit if you must, if you love it, but I still more of an advocate for traditional strength training, right? Train smart, run smarter. You don't necessarily have to spend hours in a gym, or even if CrossFit workout's only an hour or so, but you have to commute to the gym, come back. I'd rather say, hey, just be time efficient. And if CrossFit can work, right? If you want to do it, it can fit your running routine. But again, I would learn to, hey, if you're training for a marathon, except, hey, do you want to maximize your marathon performance? You don't necessarily want to be going to the CrossFit gym multiple times a week. I would keep it to 2 times or even 1 time a week. So if you want to learn how to run pain-free while getting faster and stronger, check out my free training, link in the description below.